am still obsessed with UVXY. I don't know about you, but I recently did a UVXY Explained video, which I got a great response from. If you haven't seen it already and are curious about how UVXY works, what are the buy signals, like when should you be buying UVXY, you should totally check it out. I'll put a link in the description below, or if I can figure out how to get the link up in the corner, I'll do it up in one of the corners. And viewers of this video put out some awesome questions and comments, which overwhelmingly were like, how long can I hold it for? Why is it only meant to be a day trade? And so for today's video, I would like to focus and dig a little bit deeper into why UVXY and geared funds in general are recommended to be day trades. Thank you so much, by the way, for the people who've subscribed to this channel. I think today, as of today, I've got 387 subscribers. Never thought I'd even get this far. I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can live stream at some point, and I just can't say thank you enough. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And let's get started with today's video. So here's an example of a great question that I got in response to the UVXY Explained video. And this person asks, now considering what I've learned from you that the UVXY is meant to be held for a single day, what if the market is in a downward spiral for 1 to 2 weeks straight? Would it not make sense to buy and hold UVXY for that duration? If no, how would you personally hedge against that extended period of volatility? Thanks. So I think that's a great question. My response was that I would, in an extended period of volatility, I would day trade it, because that's what I've decided is best for me with UVXY. It is what ProShares, the fund manager, that's what they themselves recommend. It's typically recommended for geared funds in general, and I'm going to get into specifics on why exactly that is. But I did say that I would personally day trade it. And the downside, though, to doing this is that I don't have a margin account, which is great because then I can trade it, often and not get flagged for pattern day trading. But you have to wait for settled funds. So if you don't have a ton of capital, such as myself, I don't, it's, you have to wait for the settled funds, and then you might miss out on some action. So then they wanted to know that if I wasn't going to hold on to UVXY for that duration, how do I hedge against volatility? And what I would definitely be day trading UVXY if I'm getting the signals that it's time to buy. And I would reassess my positions. I would sell what I could sell, take some profits, and my goal would be to have as much cash as I possibly could have when the stock market bottoms out, to be able to buy at that bottom and get back into the market. So that's what I do. So why is it that ProShares and other geared funds recommend that they're only held for a single day? And why is it also that they're saying, if you hold it longer for a day, then you're not guaranteed the multiplier? This is why. We'll find the answer on the ProShares website, which I'm looking at right now, and it's the effects of daily rebalancing and compounding on geared investing. Most leverage and inverse funds, also called geared funds, have a one-day investment objective. That is, they aim to provide a multiple of the return of a benchmark for a single day before fees and expenses. To maintain their investment objectives, geared funds rebalance their exposure to the underlying benchmarks each day by trimming or adding to their exposures. And then as a result of this daily fund rebalancing, an investor holding a geared fund longer term is unlikely to continue to receive the fund's multiple times the benchmark's returns. As long as the fund is held, compounding can cause the investor's exposure to the underlying benchmark to continue to deviate from the fund's stated objective. In trending periods, compounding can enhance returns, but in volatile periods, compounding may hurt returns. Generally speaking, the greater the multiple or the more volatile a fund's benchmark, the more pronounced the effects can be. And then scrolling down a little bit further, it says that investors using geared funds over periods longer than 1 day are encouraged to actively monitor their investments as frequently as daily, and to consider a strategy that either mitigates the effects of daily rebalancing and compounding, or seeks to take advantage of the way that leveraged and inverse funds can perform over time. And then here are the bullet points. So it says, for many investors, the most direct way to mitigate the effect of holding gear funds over time is to simply limit the holding period. Remember, returns for short periods that are longer than a day can still differ in amount and possibly direction from the target return for the same period. And then you've got investors looking to approximate a fund's multiple for longer than 1 day may need to rebalance their holdings by increasing or decreasing the investment to maintain a desired exposure. Rebalancing may result in transaction costs and tax consequences. Of course, rebalancing can reduce the negative effects of compounding on performance, but it may reduce the positive effects as well. And then this answer right here directly answers that question that the person had asked me on the UVXY Explained video. Right here it says, an investor who has a conviction about the volatility and direction of a benchmark may use geared funds to seek to benefit from the effect of the compounding of the daily returns of the fund. For example, when expecting a low volatility trending period. However, investors should consider the cost of the investment and how their portfolios will be affected if the investment goes in the opposite direction of what they were expecting. So that language right there, an investor who has conviction about the volatility and direction of a benchmark. So it's not saying if you've got conviction about the market as a whole, it's saying specifically that you need to have a feeling or sense of what the benchmark is going to do. And we need to remember that UVXY is not benchmarked to the VIX. It is benchmarked to the S&P 500 VIX Short-Term Futures Index. And with compounding and this daily rebalancing, this is how and why the multiplier, like the 2x, the 3x, the 1.5 times, and so forth, that is how those become no longer guaranteed if you hold on to UVXY or geared funds like this for longer than a day. So this right here is the reason why I only day trade it. Because day trading it is just, it's super simple in my mind. I can wrap my head around it. I don't have to go to sleep at night and worry about what's gonna happen in this market. Now, if I were to be that person who is gonna hold on to it for longer than that recommended day, there's a line in here, right? It says, about investors who seek to take advantage of the way that leverage and inverse funds can perform over time. I'm not that investor. I guarantee that there are ways to calculate that kind of stuff, but that's not for me. The only way that I would consider, going against their own recommendation of making it a day trade would be as if I knew how to do that math and how to calculate ways to take advantage of an inverse fund. I'm not there yet as an investor. And I imagine most people watching this video aren't either. And that's why you're watching this video, because people who have those skills, how to take advantage of how an inverse fund operates, don't need this information. And it's not to diss myself or anybody else, because I'm proud of the knowledge, the skill set that I'm at, but I'm definitely not there. And I'm being honest with myself, and I'm acknowledging, where the limits of my ability as a trader are. And so hopefully I've answered the question about whether you should hold it or day trade it. And I think that depends on who you are. Me personally, I am comfortable day trading it only. If I were to hold it, I am that kind of person who would actually want to know the math behind, how do I figure in the compounding and all of that stuff. And for me, it's just too much. I want to keep my life with UVXY as simple as I possibly can, because it is so crazy complicated.